So in this video, I'm going to explain how to write a part program for phasing cycle. Now look at this diagram, this image. This is the final finishing shape of the component we need to prepare a program. This is the shape we want to prepare a part program. So this is for the phasing cycle. Why you are using the phasing cycle? The main reason is you see that compared to the diametrical values to the length values, diametrical values are more compared to the length dimensions. If you see that here the longitudinal dimensions are 20, 20, 10, 10, 10 is there. Here this diametral value 40, 80, 120 and 160 is there. So these are the more values, then you can prefer the phasing cycle rather than plain turning cycle. So that is only both will possible, but better you can use the phasing cycle to prepare a part program. So now look at this image. Now this is the starting point where we can call it as a reference point. For each mission there is a one reference point. Tool will goes to the first reference point and choose the which tool you want for machining. So after selecting the tool, now bring this tool from the start point to the tool entry point. Now here defined it is a tool entry point. From this tool entry point, this cycle will start. Now you can see that the tool path is mentioned here. How the tool path is moving is mentioned here. And here the small gap is provided. This is the finishing. So after completion of this rough turning, then we will go for the finish turning with the same the features, that is the same the outlines is possible. Okay, now let us see that the program. The main syntax used for this phasing cycle is two blocks, that is the G72WR, and second block is G72PQUW. Now what is the first block? W indicates the depth of cut. What depth of cut we are mentioned, that will be assigned the letter W. And R is the amount of return at the end of each cut. After each cut, the tool will come back return going to the another point. That amount also you need to mention here. It may be 0.5 mm or 1 mm, whatever you mentioned, that amount the tool is returned back. And coming to the second block, the P is indicates the contour start block number. The contour is there. Entire contour is consist of the number of blocks. What is the first block number, that will be assigned to the P, and Q is the contour end block number. So in between the start block number and end block number of times the cycle will repeat, because according to the depth of cut, how many cycles it will be there, that will be taking care of that syntax, and that loop will be continued till end of that machining. So that is the we need to give the controller to the from which block to which block we want to repeat, that is assigned here P and Q. And U is because after a rough turning we need to give the finishing allowance. That finishing allowance is in X axis, and W finishing allowance in Z axis. W indicates the whatever amount is left over that is in Z direction, and U indicate the whatever amount left over in X axis, that amount will be removed during the finishing cycle. Now let us see that that program consists of the first block. So the first block, the N10, here N10 indicates the block number, and G21, what are the units you are following? Here the metric units. G98 is the feed. Generally we are go for the feet for minute or feet for revolution. This is the feet for minute. G99 is the feet for revolution. And coming to the second block, so you have to mention the tool will send to the home position. Then that is the G28 and U0 W0. G28 U0 W0. So now this is the U and W indicates the U is related to the X axis and W is related to the Z axis. Now next block M06 T02. So M06 indicates the tool change. Which tool? The number 2. Whatever the tool is there in that index number 2, that will be loaded. Next, so what is the spindle speed? You can mention here S1100, and M03 is the spindle starts rotating in clockwise direction. M04 is a counterclockwise direction. and G00 that indicates the rapid movement. Because the tool is at reference point, now bring the tool from the reference point to the tool entry point. Here the tool entry point is 176 and Z2 just 2 away from the workpiece. For the safety, we are moving the tool away from the workpiece. And now you can write the facing cycle. First block G70 to W7R1. Here I am each time the depth of cut is 7 and the retract, the tool retract is the 1 and G70 to second block, and the P45 this is the start block number, and Q75 that is the end block number. In between the machining is taking place. And U4 and W2, here it is the U4 is the finishing elements in X direction, W2 is the finishing elements in Z direction, and feed is feed 65 and spindle speed is 550. So with 550 during the machining the spindle is rotating. Then after this go for the G00 Z minus 70, then X160, then G01 X120, Z minus 60 F60 and Z minus 50. So these are the starting block number is 45, that whatever the shape is there, that shape we have to write here. Okay. And X80 Z minus 40, Z minus 20, X40 Z minus 20. Okay. So now this is the up to G75, that is the entire contour, whatever the contour is there like this, that entire contour you have to mention the block. So now in between the block number 45 to 75 it will be repeated. So during this process entire the rough machining is taking place. Then coming to the finishing, G70 indicates the finishing. So G70 again these two blocks, that is P45 to 75, the finishing, whatever the amount is left over, that amount will be removed in this finishing cycle. So once that finishing cycle is completed, again send back to the starting point of the tool, that is X176 Z2. Then we can send the tool to the home position G28 U0 W0. Then spindle stop M05. Then the program end and rewind. So M30 is the program end and rewind. I hope everyone can understand how to write a CNC part program for a facing cycle. Thank you.